Here we have a couple more examples where we're going to be graphing these rational functions. First thing we're going to do is find our vertical asymptote. This v is pointing downward. That reminds me I need to look at the denominator for my vertical asymptote. My denominator is x squared. The factor here, we have a couple of x's. So here our vertical asymptote is at x equal to 0. I'm going to go ahead and put that on my graph. The degree of that factor is 2. 2 is even, so I'm going to put an e above my asymptote. For the horizontal asymptote, I look at the degree of the numerator and the denominator. The degree of my numerator is 0, n is 0, m is 2, 0 is less than 2, so we have a horizontal asymptote at y equal to 0. For the x-intercept, we need to set our numerator equal to 0, but our numerator here is just 4. 4 is not equal to 0, so once again we do not have any x-intercepts. The y-intercept, we're going to evaluate this function with an x value of 0. So that would give us 4 over 0 squared, aka 4 over 0, but we can't divide by 0. Therefore, we also don't have any y-intercepts, which makes sense because we had an asymptote at the y-axis, and we're not going to cross this vertical asymptote, so we're never going to touch the y-axis. Now let's see what's happening above and below our horizontal asymptote. Because our fraction is positive, we're starting above it, hugging that asymptote. The next thing we come up to is another asymptote, so we're going to hug that one. And then this was an even degree, so we're going to stay up next to it, hugging our asymptote. The next thing we come up to is another one, so we're going to hug that one as well. That is the graph of this function. Here we've got f of x equals negative 4 over x squared times x plus 2 to the 4th. Vertical asymptote, we need to look at that denominator. Our factors are x squared and x plus 2 to the 4th, where we can just set what's inside those parentheses or just that x equal to 0. So we have x equals 0, there's one vertical asymptote, and x plus 2 equals 0, meaning we have another asymptote at negative 2. So here we've got two vertical asymptotes. One of them is at 0. That one had a degree of 2, which is even. The other one is at negative 2. That one had a degree of 4, which is also even. For our horizontal asymptote, n is 0 and m is 6 because 2 plus 4 is 6. And 6 is greater than 0. So we have a horizontal asymptote at y equal to 0. For our x-intercept, that's where we would set our numerator equal to 0. We have negative 4 as a numerator, nothing else, so we don't have any x-intercepts. For our y-intercept, we're going to evaluate this equation with an x value of 0, giving us negative 4 over 0 squared, which is 0, times some number, but it doesn't matter because 0 times anything is 0, and negative 4 divided by 0 is not possible, so again, we don't have a y-intercept, which makes sense because of that vertical asymptote on our y-axis. This time our fraction is negative, so we're going to start below the horizontal asymptote, coming up, hugging that horizontal asymptote, hugging that vertical asymptote. This vertical asymptote had an even degree, so we're going to stay next to it, hugging it. We don't have anything on our x-axis, there's nothing to touch. Hugging it and coming back around and hugging this vertical asymptote. So we went from one vertical asymptote to the horizontal, back down to the vertical because we're not crossing that horizontal asymptote right now. Finally, we had another even degree, so we're staying next to it, hugging the vertical, hugging the horizontal, and that's all we have, so we're going to keep going to the left.